All right, and we're going to start with questions. Who's got questions? Tear these people apart. Come on. Run! The raw amount of data that was just given to you guys, and there's not a single question, really? All right.
Actually, I'll ask you. Okay. I own 3 smoke shops. Okay. And the problems that we had when we were trying...
I'm just going to give you the microphone because your sentence is too long. There you go.
Okay. I have 3 smoke shops, and when the petitions for the signatures for the petitions were being passed around, we were having a hard time getting customers to actually go and sign up for it because a lot of them were kind of worried about where the names are going to be at. It's a catch-22 as far as me having a smoke shop because on the federal level, we have to basically say that everything that we carry in our stores for tobacco. But if we turn around and try to inform the customers in regards to how important it is to vote, is that going to create an issue where we're basically telling customers that everything is for tobacco versus now having cards that basically say vote on the cannabis?
Is that going to affect you in which way?
Legally.
No, it won't affect you legally because you have the freedom of affiliation. You can push whatever political party, whatever religious thing. I mean, that's really your freedom to do that. And that's, I mean, it will affect you legally, as in the feds can come bust your door down. They can always do that.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, that's one thing that people really need to remember too, is that let's just say this passes and we just had laws that said, you know, made it exactly how we wanted it to be. The federal government still says this is illegal. So unless we get people up in Tallahassee, like the governor, the attorney general, people like Lucas up in DC, we're not going to be able to get this issue up in there. We need to have people at the head of the state ready to protect the state when the federal government tries to come in and implement their laws, like try to bully us around. We need a governor and attorney general up there and representatives, everyone out there, like a county sheriff, to say, get out of here, you can't come in and bust our shop down because this is, if we decide this is okay. That's why it comes into play, which is why politics has to play a little bit of a part in all this, because you need people there to use, that we're going to use your voice appropriately.
Gotcha. Every Wednesday we have a farmer's market outside, and it would be kind of nice if somebody could come out there and set up a little stand in front of the store to be able to inform the people. So,
and United and, yeah.
Great.
If United and Karina could both get with Leo afterwards to get the information on that.
To one little follow-up on the signing of the petitions. You have to be a registered voter to sign petitions, which means you're a public record anyway. One person that I was negligent in introducing, Representative Dudley. What's your...
Dwight Dudley, State Representative, District 68. I helped co-sponsor the Charlotte Webb bill, not at the expense of supporting Amendment 2. I'm fully supportive of Amendment 2. There are a lot of bogus arguments. It's ridiculous. One of the most simple things is that there are synthetic high THC products that doctors prescribe at tremendous expense to people. Marinol is about $850 a month for people who really, really need it, and that's the only avenue they have. There's another drug called Sesamet that's Navalone, and the same thing with that. That's over $600 and something a month. I mentioned this in the committee hearings while this issue was being heard, and clearly supportive of Charlotte's Web, but clearly also supportive of Amendment 2. The game is, the strategy is they can point to Charlotte's Web and say, this is sufficient, this takes care of, you know, what needs to be taken care of, and it absolutely doesn't, because there's so many people that have such a need. You know, just humanely, they need to be able to medicate with marijuana. So I get it. I'm fully supportive. I've come out publicly and said that. You know, you see where it's been alluded to. I think Lucas mentioned the narrowing creating this bottleneck and this very select chosen few, they're going to be able to sell even the Charlotte's Web, and then using that as a paradigm for presuming Amendment 2 is successful. And just talking about that for a second. Guys, listen, you can disengage all you want, but you have to engage for this, okay? If you have the ability to vote, you have say-so. If you don't have the ability to vote, you have zero say-so, okay? Just like, not to get overly political, but in this region, Duke Power taxes us. Maybe you don't know that. They kind of keep it a secret. There's no truth in billing, even though we try to pass a law to do that. We're trying to repeal the utility tax. We have a constitutional amendment, not unlike Amendment 2 that's coming. The second really big thing is deregulation of renewable power. The power companies are talking about taking back what they call net metering and creating a impediment, disincentive to be able to sell renewable power. Today you can sell, if you have excess power, at the end of the month you can sell it back to the power companies at the end of the year and so on. So, you know, these are the things that you get to have a say-so in. If you're registered to vote, you've got to do it because you get zero say-so and you may as well be spitting in the wind unless you're engaged and voting in your interest. It's in your interest. And there's plenty of reasons to think the system sucks. There's corruption, there's this, there's that. But you know what? If you're paying attention to your issue and you get to vote for it, you get to vote for the people that support your issue, you're powerful. And the one thing I've learned, I've only been doing this for 2 years. My day job is criminal defense lawyer, so you know I have a lot of issues with people who need marijuana to help them, legitimate reasons that have been prosecuted, persecuted, however you want to say it. It's very worth your while to be engaged. I've learned the one crucial thing I've learned is the people are powerful. The people have tremendous power. They just got to use it. We just have to use our power, and together we have so much power. We're unstoppable. So the things that we want and that we believe in, we can make happen, make it a reality. So I'm sorry, I don't know if that answered any question, but anyway.
I do want to point out, when I started this, which I got involved in 2003, there wasn't a single elected official on the planet that would have publicly gotten in front of a group with a camera rolling and said, I support marijuana. Not one. In fact, we have multiple states that have gone. We have representatives in our states fighting for it. We're winning. We are getting there. One of the follow-ups I wanted to do for yours was, and kind of also to what Dana was saying about the feds coming in. Luckily, a piece of legislation was passed a few weeks ago that defunded the DEA from coming into states that have already made it legal. This is something that I'm going to attempt to not campaign while I say this. Pay attention to how your representatives vote on other issues surrounding this. My opponent voted no. Thank God it passed anyway. But if this is your driving issue, if this is something that's extremely important to you, every single person on your ballot in November will have some say-so in what's going on. Look at their voting records. Go out, figure out if they support what you believe in. If they don't vote for them. If none of us do, don't vote for any of us. Yeah. Not all. I'm not a supporter of lesser two evils. I'm libertarian. We have no on everything.
That passed the House, right? Yeah.
That passed the House. I do not know if it has appeared for the Senate yet. And I don't believe it has passed. I don't know if one's been proposed yet. I would imagine
it's been proposed.
Okay.
And they're supposed to be voting on it like this week. So that's something to talk to U.S. senators about this week, about defunding the ability of the feds to.
I would imagine if the Republican House passed it, the Democrat Senate would. I have high hopes that the Senate will. Shut up. I have high hopes that the Senate will go. unfortunately, with my day job and my campaign, I don't have a whole lot of time to pay attention to what the Senate does. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I personally don't know that much about the Senate there, but thank you.
What I was going to say about that whole
the bill that he's talking about, the other thing that you need to do, other than watch to see who votes for it, is watch to see if they actually implement it afterwards, because they did already release a couple, like a memo, I think one was called the Cole memo, the Feds released, right after Obama took office, I think in 2009, and the preceding 6 months after that were the highest bust in the states that had already legalized cannabis, higher than all the other 8 years before that. So whenever they pass this, and they might not want to, the media might not want to report on these places getting busted by the feds, so you really have to search out and maybe talk to people in the state actually and see what's happening there. Follow up.
I think. Yeah, there we go. I think the rule of thumb there is stay engaged, stay involved. Yeah. I think we're going to come back to that just about every single question. If you want to be able to affect change, you have to stay engaged. And question.
Yeah, so I don't know how we're going to phrase this as a question, but I've heard from rumor that marijuana is considered as a psychotropic drug. And if passed, that the people that do get the prescription card for marijuana, well, they'll be surrendering their Second Amendment rights for the right to bear arms, because under a psychotropic drug, you cannot own a firearm. Is that true or not?
Yeah, no, I mean, with regard to that, there's absolutely no movement that I know of whatsoever, at least in the State House and the Florida Legislature, regarding that. Now, there's clearly laws already, and some people think it's a great idea, propose laws they call per se laws, that if you're stopped and they detect that you smoke marijuana, that they're going to consider you impaired automatically. That doesn't seem very fair, does it? So, but, if you're drunk and you have a firearm, that's illegal. In other words, you can't be using the firearm. Obviously, if you own a firearm and you're not twirling it on your finger, you're okay. But anyway, so
I think you were referring to, there was a piece of legislation, I don't know if it was passed or not, but there was a piece of legislation that's saying that if you had sought mental health care, then it was going to be, you had to be on a registry for the handgun or something, or you couldn't have it concealed. I don't think it passed though, that piece of legislation.
I don't think so. That was federal.
There was one in the state, but I don't think it got anywhere.
I don't think it made it out of the House. There was a move at the federal level to change Second Amendment rights for a plethora of things that were medically related. As of right now, marijuana being passed as a medicine would fall underneath the same medicine types as everything else, and there is no law that I'm aware of that removes your ability to own a gun because you're taking medication for a disorder. It's something to be vigilant about, obviously, but as of right now, that's more of a stay vigilant and be watchful of it, not something we have to worry about authority here. Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't want to do, I'm in the middle of a campaign myself here for somebody, but here's a trip, and that's going to be a trivia question if anybody in the bar wants to answer this one. What Florida governor put in the most mandates under the marijuana laws?
Charlie Crist.
His nickname was Chain Gang.
Yeah, you're right, Chain Gang Charlie, so the only thing to say is Adrian Wiley for governor.
I'm actually going to follow that up with Bill Wilson for AG is actually, for this particular issue, even more important. But again, that's the knowing who's on your ballot, studying their issues, and making sure that they match up with you. Do you have any other questions? I know we have some prospective entrepreneurs in the room. Any questions for the exchange guys or implementation laws? If not, we'll just go to mingling for the rest of the evening. All right, if there's no more questions, I'm going to disband the meeting. Thank you guys again so very much for coming out. I really appreciate it.